This episode is brought to you by the Thrive Tribe. Check it out at chasingbrighter.com/Thrive Tribe. Welcome to Superwomen Diaries, where each week we share personal stories and open up about our journeys. At Chasing Brighter, we know that being a woman today is complicated. We want to get vulnerable. We know that vulnerability is where real connection happens. Get ready to dive deep and connect as we reveal the real and raw moments behind the scenes of our lives. Hi, Kelly. How are you?
I'm doing okay, Jess. How are you doing?
Well, I find it interesting that you guys don't have school today because of extreme cold. So, what's extreme cold then? Is it below what?
Well, it's 6 below without a wind chill right now.
Okay.
So I think, well, first of all, the public schools didn't have school today anyway. I think it would have been canceled otherwise because of the extreme cold. I think it's just hard to keep things warm and especially some of the buildings maybe when it's this cold. Plus, you have people out and about that they don't want people out and about so much.
Yeah.
So I think it's just safer. It's like a extreme cold.
Interesting.
What's the exact word? But, yeah, we're, like, under a weather alert for
I-
extreme cold.
In America, right? Like our whole system is set up for like schools to watch children while parents work kind of thing. And I also think that schools are a safe place for a lot of kids where they get their meals. So it always is like, I think kind of alarming when we cancel school too. I feel like,
Well, and
Mm.
it worked out that it was already a non-school day for the public
Right,
school
right, right,
system
right.
because I do think that that gets more challenging. The other part that's interesting is Wes being in high school and it being I think private schools have more flexibility because they usually have it's just one single school. They can do stuff versus the public school system where it's like multiple, right? It's a whole
Yeah,
district.
right.
So Wes doesn't have classes today. It's called asynchronous schedule, where basically it's like remote learning, but no class time. So
Mm,
each of the teachers drops in assignments that they have to work on that are
okay.
like
So they
30
don't
to
have to
40 minute
count
hours.
it. They don't have to make it up.
Correct. Well, they weren't planning
Interesting.
to anyway. I guess also, a lot of the schools the last couple of years, so a lot of schools build in snow days, right? Or build in a couple extra days that they
Hmm.
might need. And in the last couple of years, neither of my kids have they don't really have snow days anymore because we don't have
Yeah,
snow. It's usually more
yeah,
extreme cold. So, I mean, we're closing in on January, and this would be just one quote unquote snow day. So I feel like it's about average that the
yeah,
kids usually will miss a day of school, won't have school in like a January, February, like a couple days, and then it's over. So we'll see.
yeah, yeah. We completed the first of 4 weekends where we are traveling across the country, my eldest and I visiting
Yes.
colleges. We went to Boston. I made a reel about it a little bit, but, it is difficult to get out of your comfort zone, and I know we've talked a lot about wanting to incorporate joy into this year, and I used to travel a ton, and my last few experiences were kind of meh, and so I don't know. I was interested to see how I did, and it is really hard to yeah, I don't know, push yourself. It ended up being, like, wonderful and really great, and I'm really excited about it, and, like, my husband went to Florida with our 14-year-old for this all-American thing he got invited to, and he was kind of like, "I hate traveling." And I was like, "Oh, this is wonderful." And so I did have a lot of anxiety. The weather kept changing when we were gonna be there, and so
Yeah, I would have been
we
nervous
were gonna
too
fly
for
in a
you.
Friday evening and then come back on a Monday, and we were looking at a school outside Boston, and I was just, like, in my head about I didn't know the road conditions, I didn't know, like, what was gonna happen, and so for all of this, I joined we used to be part of, like, Avis, we were, like, Wizard members, but, like,
Mhm.
I've had a really hard time with Avis, it will not update my credit card, I've gone in, they have to have my credit card, and it's just, like, weird that it won't. I've just been having some weird issues. And I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna go research the best rental car company." I know that you had Emerald Isle for a long time, or I don't know if you still have it, and with National, and so I'm like, "Let me go see." And so they rank the different car companies for different
Okay.
things, and I decided
Uh-huh.
to go with National Emerald Isle, and
Okay.
there's no cost to join it at this point.
Yes, there's not.
So, when you do Emerald Isle, you just reserve a car at, like, Emerald Isle rate,
The
and then you
whatever
get
the
whatever car is
mid-size.
available.
Mhm.
Now, if you want a different car, they say, "Don't do Emerald Isle, like, reserve it." So I get there, and it was, like, midnight, and I go, "Oh, I have National," and he goes, "Oh, just pick any of those cars in that aisle."
Yeah, it's so
So
fun to get to
there's,
pick
like,
whatever
2
car you
little
want.
SUVs. So we start getting an SUV, and I look, and I'm like, this was like a Jeep Compass," and I'm like, "No, I specifically for this trip, like, reserved a Ford Explorer." So I go back to the guy, and he goes, "Are you Emerald Isle?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, Emerald Isle is over there." So I guess, like, all National, you just grab a car now. So there was an
Mhm.
aisle for National, and then there was an Emerald Isle
Ah, okay.
row. So I go up to Emerald Isle, and, like, it was all just sedans, and I really wanted, like, an all-wheel drive. And then I look and there was, like, this VIP row, and so I'm like, "Okay, well, if I have Emerald Isle, which is 1 higher than the regular, I'm just gonna go back and get this little Compass." I'm like, "Gabby, hurry," because it was the last SUV. We run back, we start putting our bags in the back, and then this group of people start coming up front to, like, get that car, and I was just kind of like, "This is where I'm a horrible person." I'm like, "Yeah, sucks to suck for you guys. Our bags are in the back of this car already." And so we go, and we just, like, check out, and then you get the rate of whatever car, you
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 get
check
yeah.
out at or
Mhm.
whatever. And so next time there was just, like, a little bit of scarcity there, so next time I wanna check a little bit more because on all of our trips, I specifically rented all-wheel drives. There was going to be rain and then snow, and the entire time we were there, it just kept getting worse and worse, and the forecast was like, "Winter storm alert," like, everywhere for Sunday, which was the day we're gonna be going right back into Boston, and the camp ended at 1 within a tour, and they were like, "It's gonna snow 1 inch every hour for, like,
Yikes.
10 hours, and then it's gonna have rain," and it was just all this stuff, which I just had, like, so much anxiety, and I was, like, trying to read the maps and stuff. Because sometimes, it gives you a winter alert, and it was really, like, Rhode Island, Southeast Massachusetts, and we weren't really in South, we were just, like, north of that little area that it was gonna be terrible in, but so I had, like, a lot of anxiety about it, but it ended up being totally fine. So, like, we drove to the little area, like, at midnight, got our hotel, then the next day we got up, we drove into Boston, we saw Quincy Market, we went to, like, that little area near the Boston Harbor, then it kind of started sprinkling, and so then we went back to the hotel to, like, relax a little bit, and then it just started kind of, like, pouring. Well, then I decided I wanted to go out for dinner anyway. We found this, like, local place, go to the local place. It was new, very poorly managed, but it was new, but it was closed for a private party. There was nobody up front, there was no host or
Hmm.
anything. I call and say, "Are you closed for a private party?" Because the music was really loud, and they said, "Yeah." I said, "Are you still doing takeout?" Because we had driven all the way there, and they said, "Yes." So I placed an order for takeout, and they only do it through, like, Grubhub or something or whatever
Uh-huh.
the other one is.
Some other website. Mhm.
And I order it, and it's, like, not confirming the order. And at this point, I don't even know what time it is, 8 o'clock at night, I don't even know. And they're not, like, confirming the order, so I just cancel the order, and then I look around, and we end up going to this place. I'll end up my post pictures. It's called, Giordino's, I think. Giordino's, this Italian steakhouse, and it is just decked out for Valentine's Day, and they have a G, so it's, like,
Oh,
these
that's
pink
funny.
roses with, like, a red G, and it's just, like, this romantic couples thing with all of these Valentine cocktails and everything. And I was like, "Happy you're my Valentine," and so that was really nice,
Was it fun
having really
traveling with
great.
your daughter, like, just alone, the 2 of you,
Yeah, it was
not being
fine.
at a softball tournament, in the middle of the
Yeah, I
desert
think
kind of
that's
thing?
probably why traveling isn't so fun because, right, I've been traveling with the entire family, and there's a lot of mental load with the entire family, right?
Yeah,
Then I'm in
for
charge
sure.
of 5 people having all their shit. And this time it's like my 16-year-old, just like most teenagers, is like 50-50, like, let me do everything myself, get away
Yeah.
from me, and I need your help kind of thing. But she was like, I'm packing. I know what I'm packing. Don't talk to me about packing. I'm taking my carry on. Don't talk to me about anything. And so I know that she's self sufficient. So at the
Yeah.
airplane, it's not like she's going to be like, I have to pee. Where are my snacks? I can't find this. And, you know, so that part was really fun, and we're really good, like, shopping together and everything and talking, and so we had, like, a lot of good talks about what she wants into college and what she wants to do. And at the camp, I just told her it was a prospect camp, and I'm like, "Just be a leader, be a leader." And it's like, you can only be yourself, and that's how I feel as a therapist in my job or with our podcast. I can only be me, right? So if you don't like me, I'm not
Yes.
gonna lose sleep over it
Yeah.
anymore. So I'm like, you just go there, you be yourself. If they like you, they like you. If they don't, they don't. And I mean, she's had a call with this coach. She's been talking to this coach a lot. So, I don't know. Then the players of the team, the students were there and gave a tour. And so we walked around, and it's an incredibly beautiful campus.
Mhm.
And then we stayed at, like, the airport hotel. It was very nice, and, like, no one has room service anymore, and they had room service. And so on Sunday night, we got in, and then it just started snowing at about supposed to start snowing at 1, but it didn't start snowing until about 8, and it was just snowing. We got 4.5 inches of snow, and we're at the airport. And in the Boston area, I mean, all you see all the time, I mean, they've got a great infrastructure, is snowplows everywhere. Every truck has a snowplow. So when it was snowing, you could see the airport. You could see planes still going out. They were just plowing, plowing, plowing. The
Yeah.
parking lot and our hotel, they were plowing the whole time it was snowing. They were plowing and plowing and plowing. It was supposed to start, like, raining for like 5 hours. It never rained. It never rained, and so nothing was wrong with our flight. We got everything. It was really nice. I had returned the car Sunday, and so we just kind of, like, drove to the rental car, took a shuttle back to the terminal, and then
Yeah.
got the free
Checked in
shuttle
the
back to the
hotel.
hotel. And it
That's
was, like,
perfect.
very nice. Cause
Yeah.
and so we're going to Philadelphia this weekend, and I am super excited about this school because we're just gonna, like, Uber from the airport, and then it's about a 40-minute train ride into Center City. And so I wanna teach her how to do the train. I've been teasing her on the trip. You know, her boyfriend is really responsible for a lot of his stuff financially, right? Which, like, a lot of my friends were as well, but he's responsible for a lot of his own finances. And so I feel like he's very frugal. And so she's like, he's so frugal, and he works really hard and makes a lot of money in his job. He hustles a lot, but, like, he's really frugal. And so I was like, Gabby, I think you need to learn some frugality because I'm 46. Okay, I was frugal forever, and now I'm at
Yeah,
the
yeah,
part of
yeah.
my life
Right.
where I'm
We're
reaping the
bougie.
fruits of my labor. And I'm like, listen,
Yes.
we're staying at
Yes.
really nice hotels, we're
Yeah.
renting really nice cars, we're going
Mhm.
to really nice restaurants. And so we get, like, a Jeep Compass, and she's like, "Where are the heated seats?" And I know she wasn't being bougie. She goes, "Mom, I just thought it was a really nice car, so I thought it had heated seats, but it had upholstered seats, and you don't have heated seats when they're
You
upholstered or whatever." But
can.
and so, oh, you can? And so,
Yeah,
but
my
I
first
knew
car did.
because you had the pull to move my seat up and down. I had to reach it. So
Mhm.
to move up my seat up and down, I had to reach under and pull. So I knew it was like a no frills kinda car that we hopped
Car.
into. I
Yeah.
mean, but it did have what I wanted, all-wheel drive, incredible windshield wipers. But it just made me laugh when she said that, and she was like, "That's not what I meant, you're so mean." And so I'm just, like, laughing that we're going to these places, but we're also, like, really enjoying ourselves. And so I think for Philadelphia, yeah, I could take an Uber into Center City, but I want her to, I saw the train's like $7, and I want her to, like, she's
Are
gonna
you
have to
going to
figure out a
try to
student
hit,
life.
like, the art museum in Philly or, like, do
No.
any other site?
Yeah. So that was the thing with Boston. I was like, "Do you wanna do a
Yeah,
hop on,
true.
hop off tour?" And she was like, "No, I don't wanna do that." I go, "But you don't have to get off." Like, Justin and I, when we travel touristy, we love a hop on, hop off tour. Like, we
Yeah,
just
I
sit,
agree.
you do the
Mhm.
whole tour one time, and then you decide whether any stops you wanna go
You're
on.
you're
I
not on
think
this
it's
perfect
super great.
schedule. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can kinda take your
And so I
time.
was like, "Do you wanna do that?" But it was, like, already raining, like, spitting rain and gray, and I had, like, a time I wanted to, like, start
Oh,
heading back
yeah.
before it was supposed to get, like, worse because the rain
Mhm.
came earlier. And it actually did start, like, really pouring, so I'm glad. But for Philadelphia, I think I wanna take her to Reading Terminal Market, which I so much.
Remember
And
that.
Center City, and we'll see. So,
Okay.
it's just gonna depend, like, right now they are forecasting snow for the Sunday we
Yeah.
leave, and forecasts keep changing. Listener, I don't know if I said that, but my husband and I lived in Philadelphia for 4 years. So there are some, like, areas I kinda wanna
Yeah.
see. For Center City, it's more like it'd be like shopping and dining, but, like,
Yeah.
Philadelphia is hysterical. It's the city of firsts. Everywhere you go is the first everything, right? And so we really could kind of do anything, and I'm excited to get back, and so it's exciting, and we'll just kinda see, where we had a lot of talks and, like, rating things on a scale. I think my daughter's one of those people that as time goes by, she's always less fond of everything, and her
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
view of it
curious about
changes,
how that works.
and so
Yeah.
she'll be like, "Oh, I hated that, blah, blah, blah," but I already had her tell me, how everything was scale of 1 to 10, so I have that etched in my memory, so I'm not gonna let her be like, "It was terrible." I'm like, "No, you really liked it, blah, blah, blah." But we did, to wind down this conversation, we did a ton of research on the schools that Gabby is talking to.
Yeah.
So she is happy to go to any of those
Mhm.
schools. She's like, "Those would be wonderful. It would be a dream come true. I'd love to go to any of those schools, period." So we're just
Yeah.
keeping all of our options
You have
open,
it narrowed
and that
down to
was
those already.
yes, that was really fun, but there are just colleges, it's just like there are coaches that are more dynamic, and there are coaches, and so it's like it's a balance because the coach could leave at any minute. So you don't necessarily wanna make
Yes.
your decision on the coach, but we already all of the schools she's looking at, she already likes, so that was fun. It makes me wanna travel more. I'm very excited that we did it. We had some delays and everything, but it was pretty simple, just traveling with her, so it was good.
Cool. That's exciting. So, for me, one of the things in my lesson planner I've been doing every week when I'm planning is one of the things that it talks about for the week is what there's a line item to try something new.
Mhm.
So it's like
Yeah.
every week try something new. And I tend to like overwhelm myself in like what is that thing? Like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to go take up a new hobby or whatever it is." But I realize it doesn't have to be that complicated trying something new. So last week the new was I made paella for the first time.
Mm.
So just trying different recipes is trying something new,
Mhm.
right? Doing something a little
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
And yesterday, my try something new for this week was Beckett and I went bouldering. Now, I have been rock climbing before, but I'm going to count this because I haven't been climbing in like 6 years,
Is
probably.
this in a gym?
Yeah. Yeah. There's actually a climbing gym in our neighborhood.
What's the difference
And
between bouldering and, like, climbing in those little handles?
you don't need a top rope and climbing gear. You
Oh.
basically free climb.
Oh, okay.
And when this gym opened in our neighborhood many years ago, I've taken the boys so they know how to boulder because you have to know how to fall and, different things. But anyway, so Beckett and I went. Wes opted to nap. But we had so much fun. It was such a great workout. And it just makes me realize like rock climbing is definitely a sport really for all shapes and sizes. And like so him and I were doing the same routes. He's obviously like 5 inches shorter than me, but we were able to kinda work through. He has different strengths than I have,
Mhm.
and it's such a great mental challenge because you can really get psyched out easily, so I forgot how much fun it is in that, like, you kinda have to it's like these micro push through your discomfort choices that you're
Is
making
this
where
just a
you're
huge gym with lots of options?
Yeah, I would say
Mm.
so, but there's a bunch of them in the city.
Well, we have rock climbing gyms, and we
Mhm.
actually our, like, Henderson City, whatever, multi-generational center has the rock climbing wall, but when I've gone to places, they've been walls. Even Dominic went to a birthday party at a rock climbing gym, and it was really more like just like a couple walls. It wasn't like yeah,
This is bigger, but this is
that
like
sounds
your
like
run
it's
of
a
the
lot
mill
more.
place around here. This one is
Yeah.
only boulder the one by us is only bouldering. I love
Okay.
top rope/belay. Slash
So
belay.
only
I like
bouldering
to
when you
take
say that it's lower walls too, right then?
Yes,
Okay.
probably like the short ones are probably 20 feet,
Mhm.
and then the longer ones are maybe 30 or 40
So
feet.
you're not clipped up to anything?
You're not clipped up to anything, no, and then the
Interesting.
the base is all, like, super padded,
Right.
like, 3
Yeah.
feet
Yeah.
high padding of stuff,
Yeah.
and you just need climbing shoes.
Yeah.
you know? So, it's really fun. We climbed for 45 minutes, and so I got my
That's so
workout minutes in
cool.
too.
Yeah.
So,
Sounds fun.
anyway, I think it's a cool sport to try in that
Yeah.
way where because I mean, I was like, "I'm not gonna go very high because I don't wanna hurt myself," and really, I think rock climbing is ultimately, like, you have to get used to, like, pushing yourself through the discomfort, but doing it in a
Yeah.
way that you feel good confident in your body. So, it was like the longer I was climbing yesterday, the more I was like, "Okay, I can do this," because you kinda get psyched out.
Yeah.
But it was cool, and it was fun to watch other people. But we just did they had plenty of basic routes for us to climb to, which was fun. So,
Yeah.
yeah, trying something new a little bit more each week, something different, especially right now in the winter in Chicago. You know, we talked about how cold it is. So, talk about the winter doldrums, they're
Mhm.
trying to find things that you can do indoors, and I love finding places that are close by and not crowded.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, that's how I operate.
I thought that Gabby and I like everything we packed was we were not cold and we probably overpacked and I'm probably not gonna pack as much for Philadelphia. It's gonna be a little bit warmer than Boston, but so many people are so crazy about the cold. Like the Uber driver drive us to the airport in Vegas was like, I'm from Rhode Island. Why would you ever go there? It's too cold. You should go, blah, blah. Everyone has all these opinions. And I'm like, millions, if not billions of people live where it's cold. It'll be okay. Like it'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Well, and you get used to it,
Yeah.
and, if you are bundled up the right way, you can really be in any weather. One of my secret, like, indulgences right now, I shouldn't say secret, is there's, like, a show on, I don't know, HGTV or something called Living Alaska, and it's about people who pick up and move to Alaska, and it's like a house
Mhm.
hunters, but it's only in Alaska, and so it's all
Yeah.
these people who have this grandiose, like, "This is Alaskan living," and I think that would be too much cold for me, but it is so beautiful, and I think the people
Yeah.
who end up living out there, they don't think about the cold as cold
Yeah.
because it's what's more meaningful to them is the nature part of
Yeah.
living there, so
Right.
I guess it depends on that piece too. Like, I love Chicago, I know it's cold, but I absolutely love the food scene, I absolutely love the diversity, and I just really love this city, so I can go I can forego the 8 weeks of cold, and also, like, it's really not that cold anymore. I think the most disappointing part is we don't get as much snow as we used to, so
Yeah. Yeah. Again,
don't get
if
me
you're
wrong, I love me some heat.
well, but if you're dressed appropriately, like you said, like we actually, Gabby and I each got boots. We have like serious snow boots because we do sledding and stuff here. We have
Yeah.
Mount
Yeah.
Charleston.
Yeah.
So they're not really like walking around city type boots. So we each got some boots and it was like, okay, I already had a coat and hat and whatnot. So anyway, so that was I think, kind of just summing up, today's talk. It's definitely about, trying new things, pushing yourself outside your comfort zone and see what happens. I like
Yeah.
that too. In the legend planner, it also says or learn something new. So
Yes.
even like sometimes like I'm always like going on YouTube and trying to figure out how to do things. So, just kind of pushing yourself out of your cozy little bubble.
Thanks for listening today. Don't forget to subscribe so you can hear our latest episodes as soon as they drop.
If you loved today's episode, share with a friend.
Join us each week as we bring you inspiring stories, expert interviews, and actionable tips to help you navigate the challenges and opportunities of midlife, from wellness to personal growth to connection and beyond. We've got you covered.
We are passionate about helping you live your brightest, most fulfilling life. Together, we'll explore new ways to thrive and grow, ensuring that your midlife journey is full of joy, purpose, and endless possibilities.
So, are you ready to chase brighter days ahead? Subscribe to Chasing Brighter now, and let's embark on this exciting journey together.
Find us on Instagram, Facebook at Chasing Brighter, or check out our blog at chasingbrighter.com and follow us. Want to know more about Kelly and I? Read our blogs, find online, more tips, tools, and resources, check that out at chasingbrighter.com. Thanks. Remember, your best life is just a listen away.